All right, everybody, we are back. It's been a nice little break from the offseason, but free agency started here. The Falcons made their first signing, Divine Deablo, middle linebacker from the Raiders. I want to say he's like 6'3", 227, so a bit light of a player. But right here, we're just going to break right into the tape and talk about what he's doing. So the Raiders right here are essentially playing cover one man with the safety, and you're going to see them bring the house. Divine Deablo right here is going to get one-on-one with this running back and pass pro. And I think he just does a really good job being powerful when he gets there. So you're going to see him extend his hands into the chest before the running back gets there, throw him off you, get into the face of the quarterback, pursue him, force a throw, and obviously, Bo Nix isn't able to connect here. So, this is one of the things I think he does pretty well. We're going to kind of break into this video in segments. It's going to be pass rush, pass coverage, and his run fits. I think in terms of rushing the passer, he kind of fits what the Falcons like to do. I think he's able to get after it a little bit. I don't think he's better at it than Troy Andersen or Kaden Elliss. But in terms of just being a depth piece, obviously Troy's had health issues. I think it's a solid signing. I don't think he's gonna change our linebacking room by any means, but just having some depth, a linebacker who can cover a little bit and rush the passer is always a good thing. All right, next one here, similar concept to last play. We're going to see the Raiders running cover one man. Man coverage doesn't hold up great on the outside, but you're going to see Divine Deablo get another one-on-one opportunity with the linebacker. So Divine Deablo right here, he's going to be coming up the middle. He's going to get one-on-one with the running back. And obviously, like I was talking about, coverage once again is kind of this cover one man with the safety over the top. So in these situations, when you're sending the house, you want to get to the quarterback pretty quickly and you want to affect the throw. So Divine Deablo one-on-one with the running back right here, you can just see he's going to throw him back pretty hard. So, in terms of rushing the passer, that running back stumbling back. Bo Nix makes a good throw, a quick throw. Sutton wins on the outside, so there's nothing he can really do to sack the quarterback. But in terms of his technique, his physicality, coming downhill quickly, affecting the passer, beating a running back who's not good in pass pro, obviously, that's all stuff that matters. All right, next one here against the Chiefs, we're going to isolate the play result, which is probably miscommunication from Travis Kelce, and we're just going to focus on what the Raiders are actually doing. So they're playing cover zero here, so there is no over-the-top safety help. Travis Kelce, doing Travis Kelce stuff, breaking towards kind of the middle of the field when Mahomes expected him to kind of go stay on his stem. But in terms of what the Raiders are doing and what Divine Deablo is doing, because that's the only really relevant part, is the Raiders are playing cover zero like I mentioned, so there's no over-the-top safety help, and they're going to be sending everybody. So what you're going to see here is he's going to come up here and get drawn on the running back, and Divine Deablo is going to come in behind and be able to get a hand on Mahomes as he's throwing this football. So right here, again, you can see Mahomes is probably expecting Kelce to stay on this route, so he's throwing it. Kelce decides to kind of break it back inside, and due to that, it's not a touchdown. That said, Divine Deablo is hitting Mahomes right now as he throws it. He is hitting the quarterback. He is affecting the throw. Who knows if this would have been enough to prevent the touchdown if Kelce and Mahomes are on the same page, but either way, in terms of pass rush, I like him coming on the stunt. You can see his quickness, you can see his speed, you can see his aggressiveness in rushing the passer, and obviously that's something the Falcons did a lot last year with Kaden Elliss, Troy Andersen, Bertrand a little bit. So they're going to most certainly, if Divine Deablo here sees the field, they're going to probably use him as a pass rusher, and we'll break into what he does in terms of coverage and the run fits now. All right, breaking into Divine Deablo in terms of coverage. So right here, you're going to see him just good recognition, carrying the crosser across the field as he drops back into his zone, scanning, being able to see this tight end type running across, pick him up, stay with him. I don't think Divine Deablo is, a savant in coverage or anything, but he certainly seems competent from everything I can tell. So what you're going to see here is Broncos running this concept right here. They're going to be coming up here and running this crosser. And Divine Deablo here, right here, he's going to initially carry this up, and then he's going to break off and hit underneath this crossing route. It's just good basic recognition. So right here, he's occupying 17, pass 17 off. All right, I got this crossing route coming over here. If he's not here, this throwing window, it'd be a tight one, but it would be there. So he's just carrying it. Good job there, good recognition. Not a savant play, right? But a lot of coverage as a linebacker, just playing your zone and doing the best you can with what you got. So, again, good play, good recognition, good technique, kind of getting depth, staying on top of it. And, yeah, that's the end of that one. All right, this one here is going to be a quick throw from the Bengals to the outside. Divine Deablo isn't even really going to affect the play, but if Burrow had looked to throw into this tight end here, number 83. Divine Deablo is very quick to recognize the concept, just a quick little hitch route, and he's able to close on that. And it certainly would have been, if not an interception, a close window. So right here you can see Burrow's going to be throwing it outside, but this tight end type is going to come up right here and kind of stop. And Divine Deablo right here is already kind of breaking down on it. Now, he's reading the eyes of Burrow, obviously. So, that's part of it. And in fact, I think he's a little – he reads the eyes a little too much, I think, in the coverage I was breaking down. I think he needs to scan a little bit more like he did on the last play. But right here, certainly if Burrow would have looked to throw it here, I think there's a very good chance that this is going to the house. But Burrow makes the right read. He throws it outside. Burrow's a good quarterback, so he's not going to give you easy ones. But, right there, it's a good catch. Not a big gain either. But Divine Deablo, just good recognition in his coverage, doing his job. Sometimes that's what coverage as a linebacker is. You don't get thrown at because you're doing your job. It's not always interceptions. So, good rep there. Nothing special, but, hey, it's a good rep. All right, next one, we're going to see Divine Deablo dropping into the zone against the in-breaking route. The safety makes a really good play on this ball. Divine Deablo is reading Burrow's eyes. Gets moved out of the zone. Good quarterbacks are going to do that. He does, rotate over, and he fills that initial throwing window, which gives the safety time to kind of come down on this ball. So right here, you're going to see this in-breaking route coming up here. Divine Deablo is going to be reading Burrow's eyes. Like I mentioned, he does this very aggressively. He's very aggressive reading the eyes. So he's going to rotate over here, kind of take away that middle part of the throwing window. But there's a secondary throwing window where the space he vacates. Luckily, the safety does a really good job coming down on here. So overall, this is a good coverage play because Divine Deablo is rotating over, reading Burrow's eyes, and he's taking away this initial throwing window. He's forcing Burrow to throw it here and not right here. And as he does that, it gives the safety just a hair more time. So again, if he's stuck, cement feet right here, Burrow's probably throwing the ball right about here and nothing's happening. But since he's rotating over, this window's taken, and that means Burrow's going to have to fit it in more along this line. And that gives the safety time to come down, and he makes a really good play on the ball, breaks it up. So, it's a good rep. It's not, amazing by Deablo. I'd love to see him scan a little bit and kind of feel the route. So right here, if he would, you take a peek back as you're dropping, maybe you see this player and okay, I need to kind of fill this whole window. But overall, it's a lot to ask for, a rotational linebacker. Again, he doesn't do a bad job. He fills the zone. He takes away that initial throwing window. Burrow wraps it in behind him. Gives the safety time to make a play on the ball. So, again, so-so in coverage. Not bad, not great. But overall, it worked out for the Raiders here today. Great safety play. All right, next one for Divine Deablo. Again, you would just love to see him have a little bit of a better feel in zone, especially in terms of scanning around him. He just doesn't take a good angle here. He's able to get kind of the wrap tackle, trip him up a little bit, but it doesn't matter because they're so close to the end zone. So for me, right here, he's so locked in on Burrow. He's just so locked in on Burrow that he doesn't scan and kind of see this route coming into his zone. The better zone linebackers will kind of scan a little bit, or they'll have better peripheral vision, and they'll see this coming preemptively, and they'll be ready to pick it up. Right here, he's only just now noting that the ball's already halfway there. He's catching it. Divine Deablo, since he wasn't reading the route, he just saw Burrow throw it. He turns, and he tries to pursue the football, and just that initial turn takes away the angle he wants. And unfortunately, that's all it takes, and then they're able to get to the end zone. So for me, again, he's not bad in coverage, but he's certainly not a savant. He's not going to change. I personally think Troy's probably still firmly better in coverage. In fact, I'd say Deablo probably reminds me a little bit of Kaden Elliss in terms of coverage. So, not terrible, but he's not anything incredible. I think, where he shines most is probably rushing the passer. All right, next one here, we're going to see Divine Deablo get sucked up by the play action a little bit, turn around, chase his receiver in zone. You can kind of see his speed a little bit. It doesn't really matter simply because the ball's out so quick. But in terms of his technique, I think this is something that's not really emphasized on this play, but I think in general applies to him. So, again, quick recognition of the play action. He's already a foot ahead of this linebacker here. He's scanning. He knows his zone. As he turns around, he's going to see this player. He knows that there's a crosser coming around. He's going to get underneath it. Which is good, quick recognition. Obviously, the ball's already out of the hand, so this wide receiver isn't running full speed. But, he's going to be able to stress that throwing window at least a little bit, even if he got sucked up by the play action. And I think that's, where his speed and his size works to his advantage. He's fairly quick as a player. He's able to recover quickly. I'd be curious. I couldn't find a whole lot of man coverage reps, but I'd be curious if he's better in man coverage, especially because I heard that he played a little bit of corner prior to the NFL. So overall, I think that's something he could potentially do more if we decide to use him as a man coverage corner. Just didn't see a whole lot of reps of him doing it with the Raiders. So, something to monitor going forward. Maybe he's better there. Time will tell. Now we're going to get into my least favorite part of Divine Deablo's game, and that's just his run fits. I don't think he's an upgrade over anybody we have on the roster in terms of run fits. I don't think he's a total disaster, but just there's a lot of factors working against him. Both his recognition, his technique's a little lacking, his size certainly does him no favors. And I just think, on this play, he's so locked in on the guard as, he's coming to get me, he's trying to block me up, I need to catch him, that he just doesn't seem to pay any attention to where the running back's actually going. And he essentially runs himself out of the play. He's in a really good position to blow this up. All he has to do is from this position work sideways, work towards the sideline. And if he works towards the sideline, he's going to either stretch this out and give the corner time to get downhill, or he's going to make the play himself. But since he's so out of position and doesn't really even seem aware the running back's there until the last second, he just isn't able to make a play. And I think his instincts and technique and the run fits in general are lacking. The only place I think he's particularly decent at is as a pursuit player, just because he's so light and he has good speed. So we'll break into more reps, but overall I just don't have super high expectations for him in terms of run fits. All right, we're going to break into what I think Divine Deablo can do well in the run game, and that's as a pursuit player, simply beating guys to spots, running after, chasing people down. I think that's something he can do well. So right here, you're going to see this tight end trying to get to him, and he's just a little too quick, and he gets around it, and it doesn't really matter because he's not. There's no way for him to make the play here, just because the front side blocking is so good. But he certainly was in position, and maybe if this gets stretched out a little bit, chase the running back down. It just doesn't happen. But in terms of his technique and his speed and what he can do well in the run fits, this is where I think he can do well. Again, getting downhill with his speed, being aggressive. I don't think he holds up quite as well as I would want one-on-one with tight ends, but in terms of beating people to spots, his speed and his size works to his ability, to his favor. So, this is one place that I don't have as much concern with him in terms of run fits, just as a pursuit player. All right, next one here, we're going to see him just, be a little too passive coming downhill, attacking the run. This is a rep that I think, Troy Andersen probably blows up, Kaden Elliss probably blows up, Bertrand probably blows up. He just needs to come down here and meet this fullback type one-on-one. And he needs to trust his other players to win their reps. Because he's coming down here, he gets hemmed up on the tackle edge, and he's out of position now. At this point, the tight end gets leverage on him right here, and there's just nothing he can do to win the edge back. Tight end gets him sealed. He can't catch up to make the arm tackle, and we get what should have been a 2-yard gain turns into about a 6 or 7 yard gain. So, again, just not super refined in terms of the run game, not super aggressive. His size works against him. His weight works against him. So all these factors kind of come together and make him a player that I think he's going to not be the answer we're looking for in the run. In terms of a backup linebacker, I think he's fine. I think he'll be okay. But I certainly don't think he's going to subvert Kaden Elliss or Troy Andersen, because I simply think they're better than him based on the film I'm watching. I promise I'm not just trying to find low light reps. I just simply did not really see many plays in the run that I thought were worth highlighting, and this is just another one that I think he's just not just not doing a good job. So we'll highlight him right here. You would love for him to make this tackle. You'd love it. I understand why he's being a little hesitant, because you don't want to over pursue here and let the running back get behind the tight end. But right here, missing this tackle is rough, man. And I'm not going to say it's easy, because as easy as this right here looks, from his perspective, the running back has basically two options. The running back can either take it inside, or he can try to break it outside. So he's doing good in terms of breaking it down, but you would just love to see him make the tackle, man. Once he commits, you got to trip him up there. You have to. And again, on its own, I wouldn't think too much of it. Missed tackles happen. He's not in a one-on-one with a running back. You're going to miss some plays. It is what it is. But in combination with the other reps I see in terms of the run game, it's hard to sit here and pretend that he's going to be some sort of upgrade in that front. So, tough rep for sure. We're going to end on a better rep here. Divine Deablo does a really good job getting around this guard. This is how I think he's going to have to approach the run game moving forward. You have to use your speed. You're not going to win one-on-one in terms of strength. So right here, he kind of sets it up, moving inside, and he's going to get around the guard as the guard comes up to engage him, and he's going to be able to kind of help with his tackle on the running back, kind of right up the middle. So this is a nice rep. Again, when you're a smaller linebacker, you're going to have to win in different ways. You're not going to be able to engage this guy one-on-one like Kaden Elliss might, because Kaden Elliss is a big dude. So get around him, use your speed, set him up with kind of your movements, and be able to break down and help with the tackle. So this is a really nice rep from Divine Deablo. I'm not going to pretend I watched every single rep. He might be better in the run game than I thought. But from the 2 games I watched, and then I watched a couple of snaps from kind of the KC game, nothing stood out that makes me think this is the norm. Certainly, I don't think he was a disaster on every rep, but he certainly wasn't good. A lot of reps were just him kind of being backside washed out of the play, and that's not on him. He just wasn't, part of the play. But I think when he was in position to make a play, he didn't make that play as often as I would have liked. So I would categorize him as not good in the run game. I would say he's so-so in the pass game. He's pretty solid. He's not going to be a total liability there. And certainly I would love to see him in some more man coverage reps, because I think based on his college history, he might be a little bit better at that. And then in terms of rushing the passer, I thought he really brought something there. I thought he was a good rushing the passer. I think moving forward for the Falcons, I would not pencil him in as anything more than a rotational linebacker. I think they'll find uses for him. I think, he's good depth insurance behind Troy Andersen and Kaden Elliss. I certainly think if he has to play a lot of reps, I'm not going to be panicking. I think he's a perfectly fine player. I think he's just another part of the linebacking core. I think our linebacking core of Kaden Elliss, Troy Andersen, I would presume as starters, and then Bertrand and Divine Deablo here. I think that's a pretty good linebacking core. I think the Bertrand and Deablo will be good depth pieces. And if they have to fill in for some games, I don't stress too much about it. So overall, I like the signing. I think you make your linebacking core, you raise the floor, obviously. I do think for this if Divine Deablo sees the field a lot, we need better defensive line play. I think, as a player, he'd probably be doing much better in terms of run fits if his D-line was winning more. That's going to be the goal if he sees major reps, have a good D-line up front. But yeah, so that's kind of the first breakdown of the offseason. I like the signing. I like Divine Deablo overall as a player. I think he's a fine depth piece. And I certainly think he helps the linebacker room on a pretty cheap deal. So, not bad. Nice first signing. Hopefully we get something more exciting, because, this is just kind of a depth piece to me. I hope we go out and maybe sign a center or something that I can really break into, and we can anticipate being a starter. But, we'll see what they do with Divine Deablo. Maybe he continues to grow as a player. But based on what I saw, good depth piece.